Okay. It's your boy Brandon Chung, man, and I'm back at it again, man. I'm back at it yet again. Guess what just happened? This is breaking news, by the way, so this is like an emergency. Um, so PSA got sold, basically. The whole company, more specifically, the Collectors Universe, the CLCT stock, got sold to an investor group led by Nat Turner. So this just happened. So basically, what they're gonna do is, that investment group, the Nat Turner Group, I'm calling it now. The Nat Turner Group acquired every single CLCT share on the New York Stock Exchange for $75.25 each for each share. And that adds up to about like 700 million total. So I think this is a pretty fair deal. I think. If they bought it 6 months ago, then they could have had it for like way less. They could have had it for $20 a share or $30 a share. But hey, but so this is very big because let me see, because like a PSA slab, right? Man, I can't even find one. Man, you tell me I don't have any PSA slabs around. Man, I'm tripping, man. What am I doing? I got no PSA slab. Hold on. I'll be right back. Just give me one. I'm going to show you a PSA slab real quick. Hold on. So, boom. A PSA slab like this Ronaldo, for example, right? So, yeah. That Ronaldo was an example of a PSA slab. So, this is the number one sports card grader in the hobby right now. PSA is king right now. And they just got sold. So the only way I know this is watching Filmington's video, and he did a collab with something C cards or something. I can look it up real quick. But shout out to those guys. That's where I'm getting a lot of this information from, actually. So what are my thoughts? What are Brandon Chung thoughts on it, right? And I think it's a good deal. You know what? I think it's a very good deal. Hold on, I'm trying to pull up Filmington real quick. I think it's a very good deal. I think this is good for the hobby, not the industry. I feel like this deal is good for collectors, not investors. So I think this is good for me and not good for me at the same time. For example, I think cards like this will plummet. I'll get to that in a minute, though. Too bad, though. I like Ronaldo too much, so I forget what the dude's name is. I'm trying to give him credit. Cardi C card? Not Cardi B. Cardi C cards. So, okay, what does this mean, right? So, with this acquisition, the Nat Turner Group is taking this company private. So, that's a big deal. And so, real quickly, this is going to be very important in sports card people. So the Collectors Universe was a public company for the longest time. And so, if you don't know, but as a public company, it's very expensive to operate. I mean, I'm talking accounting expensive, finance expenses. You have to report your earnings every quarter. You have to do a lot of stuff every single quarter, and then constantly keep up with things. Anyway, Cardi C sports cards. He was a very smart guy. That's where I'm going to get a lot of this info from. But So CLCT, or Collectors Universe, is technically a small cap stock, right? It was for the longest time worth 500 million or 300 million. And as a public company at that size, it's very difficult to operate. So now they're private. Now basically what that means is they can take more risk, and they don't have to use up a lot of their time to report all their earnings and get the accounting right. So they don't have to spend all that money for that. So they're going to get more operating income, or more operating cash flow. They can turn that into investing cash flow. That's basically what they can do now as a private company for Collectors Universe. Now they're private. The one thing, so here's another thing, right? As a public company, you have all these board members. The board is like all the executives that make up the executive decisions, basically. So what Nat Turner says, according to this guy, Cardi C, is, I think I'm right, I might have misheard him, but he's basically getting rid of a lot of the legacy board members, but keeping Joe Orlando. Joe Orlando, based off the shareholder letters and stuff I read of Joe Orlando, he is so financially focused that is kind of disgusting. Like, he literally brags about the PSA backlog. He brags about the earnings and stuff like that. He's saying, "Oh, we bumped up the PSA slab price again. Look at us, we're making more money." He's trying to appease the shareholders mainly, so he's kept on the board. But I think they're keeping him more for operational purposes, because as the whole virus happened and as everybody was submitting their cards like crazy, PSA probably did the best job of sustaining the orders. And SGC and BGS didn't do that great of a job, also according to Cardi C. But as well, so what legacy board member means is, oh, you've been here for like 10 years. Oh, you can stay for life now. You're a seasoned veteran. Oh, you're good, man. You can do whatever you want now. And Nat Turner's group is saying, "No, you guys are out. No. We don't like you with, our direction and your direction is different, so you guys are out." So Nat Turner is, according to Cardi C again, is trying to get more of the innovative people into the board members, which is a very good thing, because innovation is so important for PSA and all of this. So that's a very good sign right there. They're trying to kick out kind of these old dudes low-key and get some of the new-minded people to potentially have a huge innovative model for PSA cards in the future. Obviously, their coin collectible is a decent part of the business as well, but let's just focus on cards. Real quickly. So the breakdown, in my opinion, according to Cardi C says something like, so basically what they're going to do is kind of spin off the coin part of the business and more heavily emphasize on the card business. In my opinion, I'm pretty sure this is true. So before the breakdown of this Collector's Universe conglomerate, basically, is the card business represented like, I think 50 or 60% of their overall revenue, and the coins represented like 20 or 30%, and then like 10 or 20% like is allocated to other businesses they have, like little businesses. But I think there's going to be a lot more card emphasis, a lot less coin emphasis, since coin doesn't have nearly as much upside as card currently, because card is like sports cards are kind of like a phenomenon, kind of. So basically what this means is a Collector's Universe is probably going to be now 70 or 75% PSA card and maybe even 10% coin. So that's a good sign, that because they're going to utilize most of their cash flow into PSA, into the robotics, into the automation, everything. Okay, now let's get to the automation part, right? And so the most recent Collector's Universe, or what do you call it? Shareholder letter, kind of, it said, oh, we're going to do a lot of automation things and that, and Cardi C called it lip service. That basically means, hey, these dogs lying. I want to cuss, but I can't. I believe in God, I can't cuss right now. That's kind of BS. I would say I want to say but I cannot. I'm trying not to cuss right now for good reason. But anyway, so wait. What am I talking about? Okay, so basically, right, the robotics part, the AI, artificial intelligence, is gonna, under this new Nat Turner group, is gonna be heavily emphasized. So what Cardi see about private companies is they can run at an operating loss for like 2 or 3 years. This is very important because Collector's Universe can now allocate a lot of their investing cash flow into the research and development category via trying to maintain a specific amount of revenue to appease shareholders. So this is a very excellent decision. Basically, with a private company, they're taking a lot more risk. They're playing, as Gary Vee says, they're playing offense. Under Joe Orlando and the public company previously, they were playing a lot of defense, a lot of just safe, a lot of political, to be quite honest with you. And another thing Cardi C said, which was very interesting, is, well, I got to think about it. I can't quite remember. something like the back. Okay, the PSA card backlog is like 1 to 2 million cards, right? Now it's like almost 2 million probably, and so basically, PSA wants the backlog to be a particular amount because they're trying to make a certain amount of revenue. That way, you know, their quarters, their earning quarters, right, is kind of strategic, kind of. They're trying to maintain their earnings. Basically, they're trying to mitigate their like earnings. That way, they can properly appease the shareholders, and that would help them long term. But now that they're a private company, this is all irrelevant, and so. As Cardi C says, and as I agree, they're probably gonna, you know, do a lot of research and development. So much for automation that once they figure this technology out, which could take maybe a year or 6 months, I don't know. I really don't. I'm not really educated on this subject. But what I can say is, once they do figure out this automation, it's game over because now they can grade cards 5 or 10 times as fast. Because that's how innovation works. That's how technology works. You look at Industrial Revolution, same way. You can look at all the history. But basically, once they can submit your cards and stuff 10 times as fast, that means there's going to be a huge influx of modern cards into the market, into eBay, into all of this. Which I believe will eventually lead to a modern sports card crash for pretty much every single modern sports card is going to crash. In my honest opinion, I'm not trying to piss people off. This is like a really realistically when I look at things, this is how it can potentially happen. You know, I'm talking the Luka Doncic, the Trae Young, you know, all the Prisms, the Optic Selects, and even soccer cards, football card, all the, you know, Joe Burrow Prism, boom, 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 crash. LaMelo, because there's going to be, especially with LaMelo Ball, a Prism that's going to be released in March, because maybe around this time, the new PSA under Nat Turner might already have huge advancements into the technology development, into the AI development. And so that's why it's terrible for collectors, because basically PSA now having a ridiculously huge influx of modern sports cards is going to crash the modern sports card side of the market, which will deter investment groups and various high net worth investors from getting involved into sports cards in general. Which people like Gary Vee, as a C card said, or what's his name? As a Cardi C card said, the Gary V's, the Logics, made the Logan Pauls too, and the Kendrick Perkins, all these guys are not going to really be talking about sports cards as much. And this point I completely agree with. Because ultimately, yes, they are in it for money a lot of time. I mean, these dudes are investors at the end of the day. Their philosophy is more like, how do I get my net worth from 100 million to 250 million and things of this nature. Right? So that's why it's terrible for investor. Great for collector, because let's just say you want a Luis Suarez, like you're a really big fan of 2014 Prism. Let's just say you want to grade this card just for your own collection. Well, you can send this off to PSA and probably get your card back 2 or 3 times as fast as you do right now, once they get the automation fully in full development, right? And so that's why it's great for collectors, in my opinion. I don't know. I think it's a very excellent move. I'm trying to remember the other things they were talking about. I just can't quite remember. Cardi C was speaking pretty highly on Nat Turner. It's important you understand the leader's personality. You understand everything about the leader of a company or group, because whatever their actions and decisions are will reflect the entire business, top to bottom, as they call it, right? Or up and down or whatever. He was saying Nat Turner is going to be a very active investor, which means he's going to be heavily involved into the operations, heavily involved in the executive decisions of the company. And now they're private. It's completely up to Nat Turner and the major board members and the leader of the company. It's no more involving any sort of shareholder, no more trying to appease anybody. If they want to take a heavy risk, they're going to do it, no question. And the thing about the investors, like actually investing into CLCT, is Well, none of us will know what their revenue looks like, what their earning looks like, blah blah blah. So the problem is when PSA is like Loki doing terrible on money in a financial distress. This is basically saying, hey, we don't know they're in distress. And then 3 months later, they might shut down. Uh-oh, this is going to create a lot of panic in the market. And you know, what, anything else I want to say? I don't know. I'm trying to think. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I'm trying to listen to the video and think about any other points. I don't know if I have. Yeah, the backlog is going to be heavily reduced, in my opinion. I think this is true. Um, you know what this new thing is going to do, in my opinion, is it's going to make all these base cards worthless. So these base Jason Tatum prisms and all these base NBA hoops, Donruss, Optic, Select, all of that pretty much not worthless, but they're going to go down in price a lot. Like he was talking about, is a Luka Doncic PSA 8 prism going to be less than grading? And that's very possible if they can ramp up their business. Like PSA 9 to, I'm not telling you to sell. This is, you know, by the way, a quick disclaimer is that, you know, this is my opinion. This is like kind of like for fun and entertainment purposes, right? So I am not an investor. I mean, I am not like a professional investor, and don't take my advice. You do your own research. Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, he's talking about how good Nat Turner is and things like that. Oh, I'm listening. Sorry. Yeah, he's saying there's going to basically be an oversaturation in the graded card market. In my opinion, more specifically, like the 2016 and up, it's going to be very oversaturated. Now, the vintage card is still like they haven't made too much for particular vintage, like soccer card vintage and basketball card vintage. It's still going to have a lot of value because there's not many of those cards. But even like the Junkawax stuff is going to be even less than it already was. But yeah, I think vintage and even more modern card that of obscure brands that have a low print run will hold value. Like some stuff like Immaculate, Panini, Black Gold, things like that are always numbered cards. Some Topps Museum is numbered card. Those will hold value because there's only that much made of those cards, right? So it's not every single card is going to crash. You know, it's more specific than that. But oh, he's talking about institutional money. Okay, so yeah, institutional money I think will be less, but I think there still is going to be a vintage market. So that's one point I do respectfully disagree with him. People are still going to want to grade cards. But certain cards, but selective cards, like tricolor select soccer, like serial numbered soccer cards, basketball cards, football cards, like serial numbered stuff. I think still has a play. Common cards, no. Insert cards, not really. Like if this was a numbered card or like a silver, yeah, people would still want to grade that. But the fact that this is base, there's not going to really be a huge incentive to grade. I'm trying to think before I leave. Like Topps Premier Gold, maybe some of those common cards will still want to be graded. Like rookie stuff, I think Luka rookie may still have people may still want to grade those cards, but the thing is, that price is potentially going to go way down because there's a lot of cards printed. But for example, like a 2006 FIFA World Cup card, like Panini, I think the print run is pretty low in comparison to the modern card. So people would still find an incentive to grade that. I think, in my opinion, people will want to grade cards, but it'll be slashed. I think maybe even 30 to 50% less PSA submissions in the future. I think so because there's no more incentive to grade these Kobe White base cards and Zion base cards. It's too much common. But the more selective stuff, the more less print run type of stuff, the more 86 Fleer, 87 Fleer, all that type of stuff, it's still gonna be like a pretty good grade. Yeah. Anyway. Sorry. Okay. That's another point I disagree with him respectfully. He says, once the new PSA company fully gets the research and development going, and once they fully get the automation and the robotic grading going, and once the whole virus settles down, this market's going to be great, promising. I disagree because as investors, right, even as collectors to some degree, we still have to look out for what's going to happen politically. Unfortunately, I have to say this because we don't know what's going to happen with the corporate taxes and capital gains and income taxes. 3 different taxes that might all increase, which is going to make selling these cards way harder in a PSA slab. So we have to still look out for that. So Nat Turner is not going to change the governmental economic policies. But what he's going to change is the speed of the submission. He's going to change the level of innovation. And hopefully he'll do a lot better job. So I don't know, what do you guys think of this whole new PSA acquisition? I think it's great. I think it's great for collectors, not necessarily for investors. No, I think a lot of rich people are gonna look somewhere else with their money. For some part, to some degree. I think this is great for me personally because now I can grade a card and it'd be back in a month. That's excellent for me, and I don't know. I'm really happy with this new acquisition. It's no more BS. It's no more PSA being political, and it's no more PSA like purposely trying to, grade the cards at a strategic pace. I think this is too much BS, and I'm glad Nat Turner. It looks like he's going to take a lot of risk. But for sports card investors, I would say beware. This is not going to change the economic future. In 2021, I think it's still gonna. I think there's still a terrible outlook for the 2021 economy. But I'd be happy that this is very good news for the hobby. This is very good news. And what I will say is beware of a potential influx of modern cards entering the market. Kobe White, done. You know what I mean? So I think I've talked enough. But anyway, leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that. And thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking with me. I appreciate you guys. Man, it's been your boy Brandon Sean. Until next time.